game. There's nobody inside the 10.
Get back,
Here
guys.
it is. The season.
If Minnesota makes this field goal here now, they get the 10-point
And they never got. Did you ever see this trophy?
Never.
He never saw it.
I like it though.
As for if
But what's going to end it though? That's my question: is how does it end? If
that's
eventually
a
this
great
will
question.
end, right?
Yeah, and I mean there are some optimistic Vikings fans out there that they wake up every day, they roll out of bed,
and
and
they go, "We're one day closer to the Vikings winning the Super Bowl." They don't know when it's going to be.
Emerged in 1970, the NFL champion won a memorial trophy named after beloved referee Ed Thorpe. Right up until 1969, when the Vikings lost it. Not the game, the freaking trophy. Ed Thorpe is already dead, but his ghost knew about it. Could that be why the Vikes are 0-4 in Super Bowls? And why can't Ed Thorpe leave the Vikings alone and do something more useful, like haunting Roger Goodell's house?
Vikings immortality. Touchdown!
I know what you're all thinking. Did this man really recreate a 50-year-old trophy in hopes of saving his favorite sports franchise? Yeah, I did. And where I thought everything would stop there and my obsession would be fulfilled, I decided I was going to drive 1,500 miles to get some real answers and try to solve this mystery once and for all. So I meant to do a video earlier, but I was just trying to get out of Florida. So it's a little update for the NFLPA tournament. I'm going to have the trophy on display. There was too many risks for me to fly, so I am driving to Minnesota. Yes, I am driving to Minnesota. So I left about 4:45 today. It is Friday the 21st, and I'm now in Bainbridge, Georgia. So it's Saturday the 22nd, or day 2 of driving, and I could do a hard push and make it to Iowa tonight and make my drive really easy tomorrow, but I don't really feel like it, so I'm going to drive another 4 hours to St. Louis. So I left the St. Louis area this morning. It's about an 8-hour drive to Minneapolis area. Eden Prairie is where I'm staying. Plus around 8 p.m. tonight, and then tournaments in the morning. All right, we are all set up. We got hole 18 at Bear Path Golf Course. It's gonna be a great day. Hopefully we'll get some great exposure. That Paul Krause is here from the 69 team. That is awesome. So Paul Krause did confirm that in 1969, he or the team never saw or received the trophy. Wait, he actually was on the 69 team that won this trophy, and they never got. Did you ever see this trophy?
Never.
He never saw it.
I like it though.
So there we go. Honor to the 69 team. Well, so at that point, you would think almost, well, hold on. This is pretty cut and dry. If the Vikings never received the trophy, that means they never lost it, which means technically the Vikings shouldn't be cursed, or were falsely blamed and falsely cursed. Well, technically we can go at one other angle with this, still giving our conspiracy theorists a little bit of hope. But let's talk about the details of the trophy and everything that I've discovered the last 6 months. So no matter what source you go to, there's almost one or two contradicting little pieces in almost every article I've found. But I will say the most detailed amount of information, not necessarily the most accurate, was from a Packers source. Now, just from earlier, I did have to correct myself and one other piece of information that I had used. So in one of my earlier videos, I talked about the Vikings not defending the trophy. Now that was actually completely inaccurate. No matter what, whether the trophy was lost, ever given to the Vikings or not, the Vikings were the last winners, period. In 1969, when they defeated the Browns, the Vikings were the final winners. Even Wikipedia has some contradictions, saying that the Vikings were non-winners, but still had basically said that the Vikings had been the last to win it in 1969. Also, strangely, you can only find half the game on the internet. I could only find the first half. But nonetheless, also the HBO sports segment that I had included in this video had also basically claimed that the Vikings had lost it and not talked about the strong chances of them never receiving it. But some of the most common things I've obviously noticed was, one, they didn't do a very good job before the Super Bowl era of keeping track of these trophies. And even many accounts talk about how even the trophy itself was misspelled multiple times, confusing Ed Thorpe with Jim Thorpe, his spelling being Thorpe, and obviously Ed Thorpe not having the E at the end. So while for obvious reasons, the Vikings and Packers will each have their own rendition of the stories and articles that we've all read, the only one true mystery that still lies is why the 1960 Eagles were not engraved on it. But also, as you can see in every article, the 1968 Colts and 1969 Vikings obviously weren't inscribed on it because, well, they never received it. But here's pretty much the facts that even the Packers don't deny. So basically the Packers had what they thought was the original Ed Thorpe. That at some point, I think at some point I had said 20 years later, I don't know exactly when it came back in their possession, but in 2015, they had it on display, thinking that it was the original Ed Thorpe traveling trophy because it looked different from all the other ones presented, kind of like the one that I had created. But yet another fishy story, in 2018, basically found in a box or donated in a box was the actual original base, which had some of the engravings that they knew from original winners. So come to find out later, the original traveling trophy was in 3 pieces, and there was a base, and I believe the actual NFL Hall of Fame, the Packers ended up with the original base, and then there was the topper that was had been broken and restored. So basically then in 2018, the Packers definitely had the original and altered it, pieced it all together, and basically claimed it for themselves. And the NFL and Vikings basically not even fighting about it. So for obvious reasons, I have not been to the Packers Hall of Fame, but according to pictures and what I can see, they have 8 trophies that representing each one that they won, and then they have the original. Whereas I also caught a discrepancy that in another Packers article and a few others, they say that while every team was supposed to receive their own individual one, only 6 supposedly had been given out from 1934 to 1969. Whereas the Packers claim that they only have 2 replicas, and they have basically 8 total trophies plus the original, so 9. So that math wouldn't add up as well, meaning the Packers probably replicated more than 2. So they're having a trophy for each year that they won it, plus the original. But besides all that facts and all that information, here's what all Viking fans know is the truth. Basically, in 1967, the Packers never gave the trophy back. They purposely kept it, they hid it, whatever you want to say. The 1968 Colts never got it, and the 1969 Vikings never got it. And then they got blamed for it and possibly falsely cursed. Now here's where we can leave it for the conspiracists. Is there a chance the Vikings are still actually cursed? Yes, and this is why. For a trophy like this importance, and before the Super Bowl trophies coming in, this is the only major trophy you could win. Why wouldn't the Vikings organization go after it? Why wouldn't they try to find it? Why wouldn't they talk to the NFL or talk to the Packers? So basically the Vikings, you could claim, would be as guilty of not having respect for this trophy by basically just letting the NFL and the world blame them for losing it when they never actually received it. So that's where my spin comes in, believing that the Vikings technically could still be cursed, but not cursed for losing it, but cursed for not going after it and making sure the trophy was in Minnesota possession or in the Hall of Fame's possessions. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to rest until this wrong is righted. And basically, getting the trophy in Minnesota's possession will either break the curse, or if the curse doesn't exist and they were never cursed, it's still going to fix something that should have been done a long time ago. I don't know if I've ever been this tired in my life. It's been close a couple times. I work in 3 hours. It's like, they have no clue how hard I've worked for this and how much I believe it's for the best. But so fellow Vikings fans, I hope you do some Skol searching.